to Your EDM Aspire to Inspire Live. My name is Mark Fabric. I am your host for today. We're going to get right into it. We have with us singer, producer Harrison, live from the UK. What is up, Harrison?
Oh man, I'm really good. Nice to be able to be here to talk to you. I think it's going to be very interesting to talk about some subjects that aren't probably necessarily talked about all the time. So I think it'll be cool to discuss them kind of things. And I like talking to American people, so it's okay.
Oh, the audience is worldwide, fam. We've got
Yeah,
international.
let's ask the questions.
But and also, fans, remember, if you have any questions for Harrison, make sure to tweet them using hashtag ATI Live. We will reserve a few minutes at the end of the show and ask those questions to him. But for now, we're getting started with it. One thing that you guys probably did not know about Harrison was that he started out as an athlete. So Harrison, I will turn it over to you. Tell us a little bit about your early upbringing there, your endeavors in sport, and how it kind of led you to where you are today.
So yeah, I mean, throughout my whole school years, all I wanted to do was be a professional rugby player. I put hours and hours and hours in every day, constantly just wanting to become a professional athlete and wanting to get kind of further. And obviously, the more that I played, the more success that I was getting in it. I started playing for the east of my country, and the prospects were really high. And until one unfortunate day that we unfortunately got in a bit of an accident. I'd scored a point, and some dude went onto the back of me whilst I was getting up on all fours and jumped on the back of my ankle, and I broke it in my growth plate in 12 places. So that was really nice. Being in hospital, I'd say 3 months like in the ward, but then like I had to learn to walk again, and that took another month. But that actually had destroyed all of my exams in school, because when I was supposed to be taking them, I basically just flunked it because I was just more focused on getting back and out of a wheelchair than necessarily just on like the grades and stuff that I was actually getting. So really, like for me, it was tough, but it was, something that I got through. And actually, when I was in hospital, like that was the first kind of songs and stuff that I wrote. They were like kind of poems or just like writing stuff, just to write stuff. And kind of for me, that was like an outlet. I mean, I never thought that I was going to be, a popular kind of producer and singer in dance music. That came later, but for me, I just wanted to do something that would make me happy. I didn't want to live a life that, I would wake up every day and hate what I do, because my theory is that if you wake up and you enjoy what you do, then you never go to work again. So that's what it was, just to make it, if that was in rugby or now it's in dance music, obviously I wouldn't change what I do now. But, my first A game was to be an athlete and to carry on doing that, but it got cut short, and that's just the way it is. And sometimes things are meant to happen. You have to look at the positives in the end, and look at the horizon, and not just be blinded by what's in front of you.
Excellent advice for, I think, anyone who's gone through a sports injury or anything like that. And kind of once you were back on your feet, and obviously, like you said, it took about 4.5 months, 5.5 months before you were fully back to 100%. What kind of led you down the music path? Like you said, you'd been dabbling a little bit in writing. How did it become more than just that after you returned from your injury?
Well, actually, it's never actually been the same. Even now during shows, I feel it. Like I can still notice like that when, like, if I jump off stage and I land like funny, or I've been on there like for about 4 or 5 hours, I still feel the ankle. Like I still know it's there, and I still can tell. I mean, it doesn't look any different. It's just a bit fatter than the other one, but like I still notice it even today. So like really, like I wouldn't say I've necessarily 100% ever got over that, but yeah, like what happened was, I just, after I broke my ankle, I went to work with my dad, and he was a builder, and so I moved down to the south of England, and I started working on a building site, and it got very depressing, like carrying bricks up and down stairs all day, and like all of my friends were going on to college and like all of this stuff, and I messed up my grades because I had a hospital accident, and I wasn't prepared to go and do a whole nother year of school because like I wasn't the best in school. My teachers told me like I was going to work in a supermarket, and I wasn't very uh, academic. I probably spent more time outside of the classroom than I did inside of it. Um, just getting chucked out for doing stupid shit. It wasn't like smart. Like I don't advise anyone to go down that kind of thing. But I just had a very short attention span. I'm also dyslexic, so I just find it a little bit harder to do certain things. And it's actually really ironic. I have no grades in music in school. I had some singing lessons, but nothing like major. And I also have no English GCSE, but I wrote a gold selling song. So that in itself is like so contradicting. That just goes to show that you can literally do anything. Because to be able to be told that you're not going to do this or not do that, and then you go on and just defy everybody, like that's the best feeling in the world, because you know it's so important to you know just cut all the crap out, you know, no matter what, and just do what you want to do and just screw everything on the side. You know, it takes a lot because you have to be a very strong person to be able to do that. But really, that is so important, man. Like, so basically, after the whole crap, we're sidetracking a little bit, but after that, I basically, yeah, I was on the building site and I really hated it. And my granddad was saying to me like, you know, you got a good voice. Like, have you ever thought about like doing like a tribute act or something like that? And I was like, well, yeah, okay, I'd do it for money, like, because I needed to live. And so I like learned all these like Michael Bublé, like Frank Sinatra kind of songs. And I was going up and down the country, like singing basically to a bunch of old people who didn't really move. But you know what? Like, if you can get a crowd of like 75-year-olds up and dancing, like you can move any festival in the world. like because like that's like 101, you know? And I think that taught me like a lot about performing and about being in a small environment, because the smaller clubs that you play are so difficult to have everybody on your side. But if you play to like 20,000 people, they're just like sheep. They copy. So you know whether you're like a good artist, whether the dance floor clears when like nobody turned up to your show. That's when you know. So for me, like obviously I wasn't doing dance music yet. Like that comes later. And then I moved. I found this guy called Kipper, who produced Sting, Mary J. Blige, and Stevie Wonder, and he basically took me under his wing, and we did this massive, album together. He liked my voice and what I was kind of doing, and we recorded like 13, 14 different tracks, stuff that I'll never be able to release because it's not actually relevant to dance music, but it was like pop music. And it really taught me like how to produce, but like producing like with analog and with the old revolutionary, you know, like gear, like learning what like a Manley Vox box was and working within a real 1176. You know, a lot of stuff that producers, I guess nowadays, would have on their laptop, but they wouldn't necessarily understand what it's like to actually turn it on, feel one, and like actually like know that it gets red hot, that you can't basically touch it around the back and on the sides. So, like my knowledge of analog gear came from being in studios with guys that were just, you know, recording guitars perfectly, and it taught me, you know, how to get the same sound and stuff that I did for Ain't a Party and I did for Sally and stuff. You know, how to record basically. It was like 101. That for me was university. Like that was when I just decided like, well, I was going to do something, and even if I wasn't the best at it, I would put hours and hours and hours in. You know, I'd be there till 4 a.m. when no one was there, just doing it. And yeah, and then I met a bunch of really cool people. I put out some emails. I started sending songs along to everyone, and that's when I wrote "Take Me Home," because my grandma was really sick, and she'd had like 10 triple heart bypasses and like all kinds of like crazy stuff had happened to her. They actually use her case in the UK when they teach university students about heart attacks. because she's like one of the only people to have survived that many. And so Take Me Home was, I was writing about my grandma, who was like obviously really sick, and you know, I was trying to get her like write an amazing like song that kind of like put the beauty of like what it's like to die, because I was actually asking her questions like, okay, what did it feel like? Did you feel anything? And she was like, yo, I felt so up high, like I don't understand what that means. And so the whole Take Me Home is about like letting go, and that's what the kind of beauty of the track was. So I sent this song out, man. Like I sent it to all these DJs because it was back in 2012, and Swedish House Mafia were getting massive, Miami to Ibiza, you know, like that kind of vibes. And basically, this guy called Sergio Boniti, who manages Chucky, reached out to me, and he was like, "Yo, I'd love to have that track for Chucky." And I said, "Okay, fine." And then that's when everything in my life changed, because that weekend I got invited on a plane, and I went to Amsterdam for the first time. And I went to the Heineken Music Hall, which obviously I performed there like 3 times now, but like first time that I ever went there, and I'll never forget it, man. Like these people were queued for miles, like literally like around the whole building, into the side, Dirty Dutch in massive letters, just ravers in there. And like they were all doing this crazy stuff. And I met all of these guys backstage, like Gregory Klossman and Glow in the Dark. And that's how I met Glow in the Dark. But that's another story. We'll get onto that. And basically I'm sat there with the guy, and then he's like, yo, Chucky sold this whole place out. He basically ignored me the whole first night, except for like for 5 minutes when he was like, bro, I love that Take Me Home song. Let's do it together. Which obviously didn't happen. I ended up releasing that song with Thomas Gold like in 2015. But this whole song was wrote way before that. So basically the concept of Take Me Home was my kind of inroad, if that means. I was in the room with the people. I had this VIP wristband that I'd kind of never had before, because I was like, this is crazy. Like I'm sat there, this fucking like that 20,000 people just all going off their nut, like all going raving. And then I was like, shit, that's what I want to do. I want to be the guy that can sing on stage and DJ at the same time, and I can do it better than these guys. Because I like the thing with the performing aspect, with the DJing aspect, is I may never be, and I will never be as good a DJ as Chucky or Judge Jules or any of these guys, you know, that have been spinning for 20 years. But I have like an ace up my sleeve in the fact that I can just turn around and be the pop star and go and sing the song as well. And that's what's built Harrison up very quickly, you know, to get the song with David Guetta, to get everything. And like, that's why Harrison is a cool act, because it's like looking at something differently and making it work. And I'll explain that in a minute. I'll come on to that in a second. But basically, after Chucky brought me backstage, I met Glow in the Dark, and I sent them a bunch of ideas when I went back, and one of them ideas was Ain't a Party Without Me. Chucky then started playing that song in Miami Ultra, and then David Guetta took it and was like, this song's amazing. And David Guetta stuck his name on it, and that's when it became Ain't a Party Without Me. And Glow in the Dark helped me with the introduction. So they put their name before my name, and that was my first huge track. And like there's twerking videos online with like 45 million views, like just with that song. And the song was special because like it was my inroad. Every DJ in the world is still probably sampling that song. I mean, I don't go to a festival in the world where I don't hear that song, or like the Let Me See Your Hands part, you know, sampled in basically every EDM track that's kind of there is, you know. And there's people like Mac J and Dioro and stuff that went on and actually started like copying it and putting it in their free downloads without even asking me, but that's like a whole nother story. But like that record for me was the pinnacle of starting. But I thought like David was going to be, because I queued up, man, like 3 years before that, I queued up to watch David Guetta in Brighton in England, like in the blistering cold, man. Like literally it was freezing. It was snowing. I was stood outside. I couldn't wait to think. I've got a picture on my Facebook that I'll show you. of me in the crowd, like a younger me. And I was just, all I wanted to do was see David Guetta, basically. And yeah, I didn't get like a phone call or anything from him at that time. I got nothing. Like just didn't acknowledge my existence, but he had Glow in the Dark and stuff on stage with him all the time. And I kind of felt, in a way, jealous, like anyone would, because I was thinking, these guys are performing my song every night. I was to do with it. Ain't a Party Without Me was my concept. And to feel like everybody's basically, especially like when you look at him up as like a hero, because from my perspective, he was the coolest thing on the planet, like that for me, like that's what I wanted to do, And this is me. I'm going to show you. This is funny. This is me.
This should be cool.
Like, this is me. I don't know whether you can see it, but like, hold on. No, it's wrong one. Wait there. Picture to the left. Hold on. Where is it? This is me at that concert.
No way. Oh, look at that.
And that's the only picture that I have with David Guetta.
Wow.
He's somewhere like in the back up there, and I'm there. And like, yeah, and still to this day, like we haven't ever talked or like even said like a word to each other.
Really? Wow, that's a trip, man. That's crazy.
That's crazy. He'll go everywhere. Like he even performed it in my hometown, Norwich, for like Radio 1's Big Weekend, which is like thing. And he was playing my song, and like that to me, performing that song in my hometown would have been amazing. But it just seems like he just doesn't, like he's too big and rich and powerful, and he's just not interested in anyone. But like that's not a very good way to be in life.
I agree. Yeah, that's crazy right there. So like you said, obviously that kind of was, it was an introduction to the music industry, and it was an introduction to
it. But I thought I thought Harrison would have been like a projectile thing, because back then if you did a song with David Guetta, like Akon with Sexy Chick or Nicki Minaj, and Who's That Chick and Rihanna and stuff like that. Like if you did a song with him, like then you were super duper duper famous, and like you basically made it. Like, but from my perspective, I did the song with him, just totally unknown, and I'm very like I'm not bothered about it. For me, like now it doesn't matter. But like I just thought like it could have been a bit more easier. That's all.
Has this something that's like kind of driven you even more so to this day, put a little chip on your shoulder?
Like after having the ankle and having the David Guetta thing and like having like none of the help, I thought this is when I learned like I thought, what, now you have to think outside the box. How is Harrison gonna be? How is he gonna actually break now? Because in a way, lightning doesn't strike twice. You're not gonna end up with 2 records with David Guetta. You're not gonna. Like that doesn't happen. So I went and I moved to Mallorca, and I knew the club rep really well. His name's Gordon, and I basically waited there every night until the big DJs came to the club. And every night I would go and be like, "Yo, I'm that guy from Ain't a Party. Would you like to do something with me?" And I realized that even if I met 10 DJs and one of them said yes, then for me that was still a bonus, because that one song could be an extra release. So I spent all of 2014, or the summer of 2014, just constantly putting in every night to the club, the same thing. I mean, God knows how much I spent on tickets, but at least I got to meet the DJ, right?
Exactly. You got backstage.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I'm like, very, very, very happy at this point, because I'm realizing that like, I'm going to be able to do these or do this, for a career, like something, I want to make something out of myself. I don't want to work on a building site for the rest of my life. I want to be somebody. And so basically one night I get a phone call from Gordon, and he's like, "Bro, I've got someone that wants to meet you." And I was like, "Really?" And I was like, I was having dinner with the Chainsmokers, which is really funny, but he's like, "Yo, bro," he said, "Harrison, you better get your ass down here now, because Hardwell wants to meet you." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then he's like, "No," he says, "You bet, but we're gonna leave in like 10 minutes. So if you don't come there." So I'm like straight in my car, man. I'm like driving as fast as I can. I'm literally like like driving like speeds that I would get in trouble for. And I'm like, God, I gotta get there. I gotta get there. You know, I've been waiting for this all summer. It's like, you know, put a fishing rod in like the sea and you suddenly get a bite, but you've been waiting for hours for just something to like take it under. And if you're not there with the reaction, you're just gonna miss the whole opportunity. So for me, I basically, I went straight to there, and then Hardwell stood up and he was like, brother, he said, I would absolutely love to do a track with you. And he said, I'm such a big fan. And I was like, you're a fan of me? I was like, you're kidding me, right? Like, like I'm a fan of you. And then me and Robert have had like a really great relationship ever since. He's just the nicest guy I know. He was the first guy to bring me on stage and to take me under his wing and to release music with me. You know, we you know, I got to perform then on the Heineken Music Hall stage because of Hardwell, you know. So like he really helped me out. He put me in the Star and Sally in the music video. We released the song in January, and after I had the Danik release and the Hardwell release and the David Guetta release, it just flowed, man. Like I had Steve Aoki calling me. I had you know, Vinay, like I now done 3 tracks with Vinay because they just constantly, they love the stuff that I come up with them as well. And like on top of that, I have the Thomas Gold release. I did some releases on SPRS. This year I'm about to release my new track, Harrison times Juicy M, LA Girls. You know, it's my first release as Harrison. So suddenly like the whole world shifted. But like it's had its ups and downs as well. Like I had anxiety problems when Sally came out. A lot of people were calling me out, like deadmau5 started calling me out on Twitter, and
but he calls everybody out.
Yeah, I know. But like, to get like 11 million people coming down on your ass right before you're gonna go out on like stage and perform it live, and I'm thinking, shit, they're gonna boo me. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. Have I ruined Hardwell's career? I was just thinking way too much into it, and then we were like, hang on a minute, right? Who's the biggest pop star in the world? Justin Bieber. Who's the most hated pop star in the world? Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber.
Like who's the most famous? For instance, who's the most famous boy band in the world? One Direction. Who's the most hated boy band in the world? One Direction. So I realized that for Hardwell, he's only going to have haters because he's number one, and the only place you can go from number one is down. And you know, like that's sad. So basically, yeah, he said, don't worry about it. It's not a problem. The reason why we chose Sally is because we wanted to shock the world. It was all part of our tactic so that everybody would be talking about United We Are. And I thought, like, okay, fair enough. Then that was a smart tactic, but you guys should have told me that. Because I was like, laughing everywhere. I was in the hotel, on the floor, in the shower, in the cold, like just not enjoying it. So like, as you can imagine, I was terrified, man. I was terrified. And yeah, basically, it's been a crazy emotional roller coaster. And Sally ended up going gold and number one on iTunes. So to have it all, you know, was, wow, it's been crazy, man. It's been absolutely crazy. And I'm so fortunate to have had these opportunities. And, you know, now I have my own studio that I can record in. And, oh, man, it's been such a ride. And even now I still get shit every day. Like, I still have phone calls of different people that don't have the same opinion as me and want to make stuff like you do something as a collaborative, or people saying that they've made certain tracks and, you know, you actually were part of the production and you were part of obviously everything that happened, and they just want to shut you out. You know, I think it's been more of a struggle to be the singer than it has been just to be the DJ, because everybody credits the DJ, but the singer's so underrated. But without the singer, there's no connection in the song. You know, like, he's the guy that puts the emotion of what you love and the way that you feel and connect to the track. He's the guy that connects you guys. Does that make any sense? He's yeah. you know, a beat is a beat at the end of the day, and it's always going to be. And although they're catchy and they're fun, and you can have the big parties in Tomorrowland and places like that, where you can go dun 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 dun, but like, which is fantastic. But you know, like when you hear songs like Mad World and they totally connect with you, and you can listen to them in the car every day, like that's when you realize that there's something special going on. And the singers have been so underrated, and there's so many great ones. Like one of my favorite singers, or my favorite singer in EDM, is Chris Jones. Like I still can't get over, you know, Young Again. Like the way that he just nailed that song and was talking about your childhood and capturing it. And even Don't You Worry Child is kind of the same. Just makes you like feel like someone's just wrapping in like a nice warm hug around you, and like everything's going to be all right. And that's what it is the singer guy is basically, he's the connector between the DJ itself and you know, the world that dance music is. And you know, I'm fortunate in the way that I can produce the track and sing it, because there are some singers that can't produce but can sing, or some producers that can produce and can't sing. I'm very fortunate to be able to have both, but like I never thought that I'd even get this far, bro. To be able to go and tour places like China and go to Taiwan and DJ in Dubai, and like I'm going to Korea soon. I go to Malta next week, London this weekend. Last weekend I was in Italy. That's mad. I'm just a kid from like Norfolk and in England, which is probably a county that no one's even ever heard of. And to be here is just wow. Like I don't even know how it happened.
It's crazy, man. I mean, and that's wonderful that, like, obviously after a lot of hard work and taking a few lumps along the way, you know, now your career is on such an upward trajectory. Like you said, you got like guys calling you up, hey, dude, let's do some tracks. You know, like we love what you do. Also, fans, remember, if you got any questions, use hashtag ATI Live. We will be asking some of those questions to Harrison later on in the show. And I guess next, let's talk a little bit about your personal life there. You know, obviously, as your career has gone up, you were saying that unfortunately some of your friends started disappearing. Like, tell me a little bit about that, and how did it make you feel? How did it impact you there?
Well, I think like you get friends that you don't know your friends until like when the going great, you get these awesome friends that like they want to hang around with you, they want to party with you, they want to be around you all the time. But then, you know, the more successful you get, the harder you find real friends. You know, who is a real friend? Who's actually going to come to the hospital in the middle of the night if you have an accident? Or like that's the friends that you get. And you get all kinds of people from school and stuff now that hit me up on Facebook, and they'll be like, yo, can I come to a Harrison show? Or can I come to this place or that place or whatever? And I'm like, bro, we haven't even talked in like 15 years. Like we're tight. I get it, but like we're also like you got to be totally honest. Like I don't know you, like not really know you. Like you probably turn up to the club, I maybe recognize your face because I knew you when we were like 5, but like I don't really know you. And that's what I find that's happening to me recently, is like it's catching on with my friends from school and stuff, that I did something that that they kind of want to be part of, but it's not really like, I bet you if I never did this, then they would never call me up to be like, hey, let's hang out, let's get dinner, or let's do that. No one would ever say that. So yeah. That's crazy.
I feel you on that right there. Everyone always comes out of the woodwork, you know, when you achieve some success right there.
Like slimy little snakes just coming out.
There you go. Yep, in the grass. They hide in the grass. And I guess on the topic of animals, you know, tell me a little bit about your humanitarian endeavors. You're very much of an animal lover, and you had a very, very enlightening experience at Lowry Park, an animal sanctuary in Africa.
Oh my God. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. And again, something that would have never happened to me if I wasn't a DJ. So oh God, sorry, I've got rid of them. Anyway, yeah, so basically, yeah, Lowry Park. Basically, yeah, these guys were in this massive animal sanctuary, and this guy's called Lowry, and that's why it's called Lowry's Park. But basically, he doesn't collect, he rescues lions, and he has a lion called Carnage that he had like since Carnage was born, and he was like gonna be like destroyed by poachers, and they were gonna kill him for his fur when he got older. And he had Laurie in his house. Sorry, he had Carnage in his house, in Laurie's house. And basically, Carnage went everywhere with him. He went, like, if he went to the shops and, you know, like he went down the road, then basically Carnage the lion would also appear in the back of the truck, in the pickup truck, like totally with all of the people in the village. But like there's a genuine lion in the back of the pickup truck. So as you can imagine, that in itself is very frightening. So he just has a major love for animals. So he started with like lions and owls, and then it started building up to other cats, like pumas and stuff like that. And then I went around the sanctuary, and there was a puma with cerebral palsy. And this poor little puma had basically, well, he's not little anymore, he's massive, but like he couldn't walk very well. And as he was walking, when he was younger along the beach, after every 3 steps on the grass, he would fall over. So they imported sand all the way from Cape Town up into Johannesburg, which is probably like a 3.5-hour flight. So it would have taken a few days and driving a lorry. And they brought the same sand that it walked on when it was a cub to its enclosure. And I mean, this thing would have got put down. It would never have actually lived a life. But it was amazing. And now it can walk every day in the sanctuary. And when it comes to these deportation of lions and stuff, you know, it's so sad. So I basically I've made an agreement with with Laurie himself that the next time we go to South Africa, we're donating the whole fee to his park. We're not going to take a penny. And I think stuff like that, you know, and I don't earn shitloads of money like some of the other DJs do. Like I'm comfortable, but I'm not like them. But like if people like that went there and experienced what I experienced, then I'm sure that they would want to help as well, because it was just a magical moment, man. Like you can't describe what it's like to have a 6-week-old baby white lion like on your lap. That's crazy. Or like a hyena, for instance, or even be in the cage with a 6-month-old lion, and he's huge. He could tear you apart, but he's just not going to, because they're not aggressive animals. Like they actually are so placid for like 23 hours of the day. They don't want to hurt you, and the fact that people just go out of their way to kill them is just so messed up, you know. And the thing is, I could donate to human charities, but animals don't have voices. And I think for me, it's more important to speak up for things or help things that can't say anything than it is for people that have a voice and can say certain things and can make a change and can do other things. And there's plenty of money going to charities like that. But lions and stuff, that's, you know, it's a whole different thing.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, that's pretty awesome stuff that we got going on right there. I think this will be the time that we'll open up for those fan questions. Again, fans, if you're out there watching, tweet #ATI Live, and we'll try and ask some questions to Harrison here to wrap this baby up. But let's see. What did we got here? One fan asks, something you know now about the industry and how it works, for example, given, and you wish someone had told you before or sooner.
Oh, I wish that somebody had told me that it wasn't all parties, women, and alcohol and fun. I wish someone had told me that I would spend 95% traveling, working, sweating my ass off, concentrating, stressed out my mind, like thinking about music videos, thinking about other things, constantly tweeting, being addicted to social media. Nobody warned me for any of this. What I didn't realize, I wish somebody had told me that this is a lifestyle and not a job. That's what I wish. This is not something you can go into lightly and be like, I'm going to be a successful DJ and I'm going to do it right now and it's just going to happen. You know, like, this is my whole life. Every night I'm just constantly checking. I feel so rude when I'm at dinner and I'm on my phone, like going through, I read every single tweet anybody ever sends me. Even if I don't reply, or even if I don't, you know, send anything back, or I don't favorite it, I still read it. Even if it's something nasty about me, I still read it. And that's the thing, is like, it's the whole life, obsessive, compulsive, random thing. I wish somebody had told me how crazy it was going to get. I just wish someone had told me like that's what it's going to be like.
Very good, very good. And what are some challenges of performing live when, like you said, you're trying to spin, but obviously you want to sing as well, since that's, a natural talent you have. What are the challenges of doing that, or other challenges you faced while on tour?
Oh, bro, like imagine this, right? You're DJing, right? So that's hard enough, right? Like not cheating. I'm not talking about like fake DJing. I'm talking genuinely DJing, track to track, every single time. You got to beat match and make that happen and mix them in perfectly. But then on top of that, you have one hand, because you have one hand with a microphone, and you've only really got one hand to make all the music work. And that's my left hand, and I'm right-handed, right? Okay. And then I have my in-ears in, okay? So I have to take out my in-ears to put on my headphone whilst also having another one in, or I can take them both out, but like I've got to constantly adjust. But remember, there goes my hand that I'm mixing the track with, because I'm doing this right now. Okay, and then on top of that, I have to ensure that every single time you have to hit the right note with your voice, not cop out, because like, or forget any lyrics or any words or anything. And then on top of all of these problems, you have to make sure that the track comes in perfectly every time, because you don't want to start singing before the track comes in, or like having like an unbeaten track that like is that would just be terrible. So I would say before any show that I do or during the week, I'm DJing probably at least 2 hours every day. Just constantly DJing. Just to make sure that if I needed to, like what I've learned is with my in-ear monitors in, I can DJ just listening to the master output volume, because I know all the songs that I'm going to play so well because I've made them from the start. But like, but I would say that like visually you look such a douchebag if you're DJing without headphones. It's like you're not DJing. So I put them on like because I do use them, because sometimes in the set I'm like, wow, I could play this a cappella, I could play that, and I have to find the cue point. But realistically, as far as like the songs go that I'm going to play, I know them all pretty well. I wouldn't actually need the headphones as much, but that's just me, like I'm not trying to be Tiesto, because I'm not Tiesto and I'm not Calvin Harris. I'm not that act. I'm the act that's doing the DJing, entertaining the crowd, playing the classics and the Harrison songs whilst doing it live and DJing at the same time. Don't be fooled by the fact that I'm trying to be the #1 DJ in the world. I'm not trying to spin on vinyl. I'm just trying to just have a really good show and keep people entertained and keep everybody happy. And that's what it is, like, don't be fooled. I'm not sitting there like going to be really anal and bring out a vinyl disc and go, hey guys, we're gonna play on this now. I'm not going to do that because it's not the Harrison act. The Harrison act is, let me see your hands, is the wave here now. Let's make it go wild. And here's making the crowd sit down. It's all about interaction with the crowd. It's about making sure that for 1 hour or an hour and a half, they're going absolutely bananas. That's what it is. That's what I focus on. My focus is not on, wow, look how cool my music is. It's, are you guys having a good time? That's all I care about.
Excellent. Love that, dude.
Yeah, so it's not easy.
No, not at all. Yeah, it's like people are like, they're just pushing buttons. Like, no, there's a lot more that goes into it,
When my friends ask me, they're like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, I press play.
Here's a good one. Do you have any tips for creativity, or what do you do personally, if you ever like are facing some writer's block or something?
Oh, bro, I write better when I'm sad than when I'm happy. If I'm happy and things are going great, right, I'm sat there like, oh my God, I'm so happy. This is amazing. Like, everything's fantastic. Wow, like, this is such a good feeling. And then I'm like, oh crap, I can't write anything. So like, as you can imagine, when you're really happy, you only write happy chords and happy things, and happy songs don't really, like, the only happy song that I know is connected with the world is Happy by Ralph, right? So for me, like I'm like, oh no, because at nighttime when you're raving, you want like some kind of emotion, or you want to be feeling some or lust or anything, or like creeping on the low. You want to be thinking or pretending, even if it's not necessarily true, that you're that character. Like, for me, I create stories of real things that actually do happen to me, and things that are slightly exaggerated in my imagination, but would make good product. And you can see that with J.K. Rowling. Like, she writes like a real serious thing, and like with her new book, and it doesn't sell anything, but then she makes Harry Potter, and suddenly the world goes crazy. You know, like it's for me, like, I could have said I'm in love with Sally, you know, or I'm in love with Sally, but I didn't, because I realized that that doesn't work as well. So I sometimes, like I could go, um, I mean, for instance, I'm kind of like thinking about this idea at the moment, but like, for instance, I could go, um, got some real nice girls over there, or you could go, I got some big booty bitches, and that shit will go off. Do you know what I mean? So like, you have to think a little bit like, how can I make it work? How can this be slightly more entertaining than what it was, or how you can manipulate it into something a little that's like very eye catching. Like, I didn't realize this, but even on Facebook, there's like things called like bait lines. So if you drop something like on Facebook and you write something like that's going to catch people's eye, they're going to hit your link. But if you write something rubbish, they're not gonna write any of it. And that's you know, you can't have that. You need to make sure that it's all relevant and all working and all is what it is. So you need to make sure it's like that, basically.
For sure. Very good. Very good. And I guess another one, who would be any dream collaborations you have for the future?
There's only one or two that I want to do now, because I'm very fortunate in the fact that I've done most of my dreams collaborations. So I would do Calvin Harris. Because he's British as well, and I met him before. Like, I feel like it's the right thing to do, because we're from the same island. If that makes any sense. Scotland's part of the same island as England, and yeah, I think that would be a special moment. Then I know I really did something incredible. And I'd also love to work with the godfather of dance music with Tiesto as well. So probably Tiesto, Calvin Harris. And the freaky thing is I actually sent something to Tiesto yesterday, so maybe it's even possible. So we'll see.
We shall see, indeed. Perfect. Well, wonderful. Thanks so much for all the info and enlightening stuff there, Harrison. Any last words or anything for the fans, or anything you want to say to them there?
Well, I appreciate you guys recently taking me to 100,000 on Facebook, and I'll continue to do my best and put out as much music as I can, and you know, constantly making it my life's mission to keep everybody updated with what I do. But I also would like to call out all the other big musicians and the guys out there that have kind of had the same struggle in getting to where they are today, and to do this as well, because I think this is actually a really cool thing that doesn't exist too often, in the fact that you can genuinely talk about your story, and not everything's all like dandelions, you know. So I think I should really call out people like Hardwell and people like Danik and Thomas Gold and stuff to do stuff like this, because it's really, really an interesting thing to talk about.
That would be awesome. We would love that right there. Well, again, thanks so much, fans, for tuning in. This was Harrison with us here. Harrison, it's been wonderful having you. Best of luck in all of your future endeavors. I am sure we are going to be seeing you very shortly. And who knows, maybe that Tiesto collab coming up soon down the line.
Maybe. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time that you gave me. Thank you.
Thank you, Harrison. And all you fans, tune in to our next episode of ATI Live, Wednesday, February 24th. It's lit, fam.